Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a really dynamic area, digital transformation in the pharmaceutical world.
It's moving incredibly fast.
Absolutely. We've gathered insights from a lot of scientific and pharma literature, really focusing on how AI, automation, and these new digital platforms are changing everything, how medicines get discovered, developed, even
Yeah, it's the
manufactured.
whole pipeline.
Right. So, our mission, if you will, for this deep dive is pretty clear. We want to pull out the key ways these technologies are reshaping pharma, giving you a good handle on this evolving landscape.
And it's not just theory, is it? We're seeing real-world applications right now, like the GNS REFS platform.
Oh, right. Tell us about that.
Well, GNS Healthcare and Gentech are using it. And the interesting part isn't just that it's machine learning, but it's causal machine learning. It helps them simulate and understand why certain treatments might work for specific cancer patients.
So it's not just correlation, it's getting closer to causation.
Exactly. That's a huge step for personalized medicine, particularly in cancer therapy.
Hmm.
Shows this isn't just future gazing, it's happening.
Okay, let's unpack this AI angle a bit more. We're talking about a whole range of things, right? Machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, even natural language processing.
That's right, it's a whole toolkit. And these tools are essentially amplifying what healthcare practitioners and researchers can do in drug development.
Amplifying how, exactly?
Well, AI offers really powerful computational methods for a couple of key things. First, designing completely new drug molecules
From scratch.
from scratch. And second, for drug repurposing, basically.
Yeah.
Finding new uses for drugs we already have.
Repurposing, that sounds efficient.
It can be incredibly efficient. There was that famous example, Eve, the AI system. It helped identify potential new uses for existing drugs against parasites causing tropical diseases.
Right, I remember reading about that. That work really showed the potential for tackling diseases that might not get the big R&D budgets, didn't it?
Precisely. It can dramatically speed up finding potential treatments in those areas.
That's amazing, finding hidden value in existing medicines. It must also help with, the sheer amount of data. Pharma research generates tons of it, right? All different kinds.
Oh, absolutely. That's a massive challenge. Integrating data that's often sparse comes from different types of studies, biology, pharmacology, clinical results. It's like putting together a puzzle with half the pieces missing and the other half not quite fitting.
Yeah, I can see that.
AI is really changing that. These solutions can handle that complexity, integrate diverse data sets more flexibly. This allows for cross-dataset analysis, which, deepens our understanding of diseases and how drugs actually work in the body.
So AI helps connect the dots across all this varied information.
Essentially, yes. It fills in the knowledge gaps, which is crucial for developing more targeted and effective drugs.
Okay, so AI is helping analyze data, find new uses for old drugs, even design new ones. What about the hands-on lab work? Is digital changing things there too?
Definitely. Automation is a big trend. Take the idea of an automated synthesis and purification laboratory, an ASPL.
ASPL.
Yeah, basically a lab where robots do a lot of the chemical synthesis and purification, guided remotely by researchers.
So chemists could direct experiments from anywhere.
That's the concept.
Right.
It could make research more efficient, maybe enable collaborations across the globe more easily. It's a glimpse into a more automated future for lab work.
Sounds very sci-fi, but also practical. But you made a point earlier. AI is augmenting researchers, not replacing them.
Yes, and that's a really important distinction. AI and automation are powerful tools. But drug discovery, it's incredibly complex. It still needs human creativity, intuition, critical thinking.
Things AI can't quite do yet.
Exactly. AI is fantastic at handling data, finding patterns humans might miss, suggesting paths. It speeds things up enormously, gives researchers better info for decisions. But the human element, the innovation, the problem-solving, that remains absolutely central.
That makes sense. It's a partnership, really. Human insight combined with computational power. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Further down the pipeline. High throughput screening, HTS, that's where they test thousands of compounds, right?
Correct. Huge libraries of chemicals tested against a biological target.
How does digital tech help manage that?
That's where chemoinformatics comes in. After HTS flags potential hits molecules showing some activity, chemoinformatics helps sort the wheat from the chaff.
How?
One common way is clustering the hits based on their chemical structures, grouping similar compounds together.
Okay.
This means researchers don't have to follow up on every single initial hit. They can focus on a representative sample from each structural cluster, saving a lot of time and resources.
So you group them by similarity and pick a few from each group to study further. Smart. But I imagine just looking at structure has limitations.
You're right, it does. Relying solely on structure or descriptor-based clustering isn't perfect. Sometimes molecules with subtle but important differences get lumped together.
Oh.
That's why understanding the structure-activity relationship, SAR, is so critical.
SAR, how the structure relates to what the molecule actually does.
Exactly. Chemoinformatics tools help analyze those SARs so we don't accidentally throw out good candidates because of flawed clustering. It's about the link between structure and function.
Got it. It's more nuanced than just grouping shapes.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to manufacturing and analysis. Quality control is obviously paramount in Pharma. How are digital tools helping there?
Automation is key here, too, for both quality and efficiency. Take Raman spectroscopy, for instance.
Spectroscopy.
Yeah, it's being used for both offline testing and, significantly, for online measurements during manufacturing. For example, checking drug content in real time as drug-loaded films are being extruded.
Online, so checking quality as it's being made, not just at the end.
Precisely. That's a core idea behind process analytical technology, or PET. It's about building quality into the process through understanding and control.
PED.
And you see Panerzi being applied to improve control over other crucial processes too, like granulation, which is fundamental for making many pills and tablets. Digital tools allow much tighter control, leading to more consistent, higher quality medicines.
So it's a shift towards proactive quality assurance baked into the manufacturing. Makes sense? What about clinical trials? That's another huge data-heavy phase.
Absolutely. And while things like electronic records and signatures, 21 CFR Part 11 set the stage for digital data management years ago.
Right. That's been around a while.
We're now seeing more advanced uses. AI, for example, is increasingly used to analyze the massive amounts of adverse event data from large trials.
Sifting through all the side effect reports.
Exactly. AI can potentially spot subtle safety signals or patterns in that huge data set that might be hard for humans to catch. It strengthens our understanding of a drug's safety profile.
With thousands of patients, I can see how AI would be invaluable there. Can we talk about some real-world examples? How has this tech actually changed a drug's path?
Sure. Crizotinib is a great case study. It was initially developed as a MET inhibitor for solid tumors, but during early trials, analyzing the data revealed it was also active against ALK, a different target involved in a specific type of non-small cell lung cancer.
So the data pointed in a new direction.
Yes, and that discovery, driven by the trial data analysis, led to its approval specifically for ALK-positive lung cancer. It really shows how dynamic development can be, guided by emerging data.
Wow. So a drug for one cancer finds its place treating another based on data insights. That's powerful. Any others?
Another good one is trastuzumab emtansine. The clinical trial showed significantly better outcomes for certain HER2-positive breast cancer patients compared to the existing standard of care.
Better survival rates and response.
Markedly better progression-free survival, overall survival, response rates. The data was compelling, and based directly on that robust trial data, it got FDA approval. It shows a clear link. Strong data leads to approval and new options for patients.
These examples really highlight the impact. Now, with all this tech AI, advanced analytics, how is the regulatory side keeping up? Are agencies like the FDA adapting?
They are definitely adapting, though it's an ongoing process. An important step in the U.S. was the 21st Century Cures Act, amending the definition of a medical device, specifically carving out certain software functions.
Acknowledging software isn't the same as a physical device.
Kind of, yes. And for AML-based medical technologies, the FDA has different approval pathways, 510K, PMA, de novo, depending on the risk and novelty of the tech.
A tiered approach based on risk.
Exactly. And interestingly, sometimes the regulatory path for an AI-based device can be less complex than for a whole new drug molecule.
Really? Why is that?
Well, it varies, but it might involve demonstrating substantial equivalence to an existing cleared device, for instance. This has partly led to faster adoption of AI tools, especially in areas like radiology. We've seen quite a few FDA clearances for AI diagnostics there.
So the regulatory framework might be enabling quicker uptake for AI in devices compared to drugs.
It seems to be contributing to the spread, yes. It signals growing confidence, too.
That's a key point. What about investment? Are pharma companies putting their money where their mouth is with digital transformation?
Oh, absolutely. The investment trends are clear. A survey back in 2022 showed AI was the top priority for planned investments by pharma companies and professionals.
Number one. ahead of other things.
Ahead of big data and digital media, which were next on the list, it shows a real strategic commitment. They're investing heavily across the board, R&D, manufacturing, commercialization. It's not just talk.
So significant resources are flowing into this.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up. To bring our deep dive to a close, what are the main takeaways for listeners?
I think the biggest takeaway is that digital transformation isn't just coming, it's here in pharma.
Yeah.
It's affecting every single stage.
Right.
From using AI to find and repurpose drugs faster, to using automation for better manufacturing quality, to getting deeper insights from clinical trial data. It's reshaping everything. Even the regulators are evolving.
And hopefully, for you listening, this dive gives you a clearer picture of how these digital tools are changing the game, potentially leading to faster, safer, more effective medicines.
Which leads us to one final thought, perhaps. As AI and data science advance so rapidly, what are the big ethical questions, the practical hurdles, especially as these technologies get woven even more tightly into healthcare and how we create these life-saving drugs? That's something we'll all need to keep grappling with. The ethical and practical side as this integration deepens is definitely food for thought.